My name is Patricia Mark, and I'm 34 years old. I've been working as a desert ranger for 8 years now. Never thought I'd be telling a story like this one. Most folks would think I lost my mind or breathed in too much smoke. But what happened to me out there in that fire changed everything I thought I knew about life and what comes after. Before we continue, please let me know where you're listening from. It would be nice to feel closer, even if we're physically apart. Also, don't forget to like. It will help this video to reach so many people who need to listen to this testimony, and leave a comment, share your thoughts about this near-death experience testimony. Let's have a fair and open discussion so we can learn from each other here on this channel, and don't forget to subscribe for more of this content coming your way. Enjoy listening. It started 3 weeks ago when the Dragon Bravo fire broke out near the Grand Canyon. We'd seen big fires before, but nothing like this monster. The flames were so hot and angry, they started making their own weather. Can you believe that? Fire making weather. These huge towering clouds of smoke and steam shooting up into the sky like giant fists, punching through heaven itself. I was part of the team trying to contain the south flank. The fire was moving fast, jumping from ridge to ridge like it had wings. The wind kept changing direction every few minutes. 1 second you think you got it figured out, and the next second the flames are coming at you from behind. That morning I woke up with this weird feeling in my gut, like something big was gonna happen. My partner Jake said I looked spooked. I told him I was fine, but I wasn't really. The fire had been acting strange for days, making these deep, rumbling sounds like thunder, but different. More alive somehow. We got the call around noon that the fire had jumped the fire break on the eastern ridge. Command needed us to get up there fast and try to stop it before it reached the tourist areas. I grabbed my gear and headed out in the truck with Jake and 2 other rangers. The drive up was scary. Smoke so thick you could barely see 10 feet ahead. The sky looked like the end of the world, all orange and red and black. Ash falling like snow, but hot snow that burned when it touched your skin. The radio kept crackling with reports from other teams. Everyone sounded stressed. When we got to the ridge, the fire was worse than I expected. Walls of flame 50 feet high moving like ocean waves. The heat was so intense it made the air shimmer and dance. And those clouds, those massive pyrocumulus clouds towering above us like angry gods looking down. We started setting up our equipment, but the wind kept shifting. 1 minute it was blowing east, and the next minute it was swirling in circles. That's when I saw it. This huge downdraft coming down from one of those fire clouds, like a tornado made of superheated air and ash. Jake yelled at us to get back to the trucks, but it was too late. The downdraft hit us like a freight train. I got knocked flat on my back, and when I tried to get up, the world was spinning. My oxygen mask got ripped off my face. I was breathing pure smoke and superheated air. Everything went dark real fast. Not the kind of dark when you fall asleep. Different, heavier, like being pulled down into deep water, but the water was made of nothing. Then I was somewhere else. I don't know how to describe it proper. It wasn't like being in a place exactly. More like being in the idea of a place. I could see, but not with my eyes, if that makes any sense. And what I saw made my soul want to run and hide. The whole earth was spread out below me like I was flying high above it. But it wasn't the earth I knew. This earth was dying. The sky was the color of dried blood. Massive fire clouds covered everything from horizon to horizon. Not just little ones like we had at Dragon Bravo. These were huge beyond imagination. Like mountain ranges made of smoke and flame. The air was thick with ash and something else. Something that made breathing feel like swallowing glass. Rivers of fire flowed between dead cities. The oceans were boiling. And the sound. Oh God, the sound. Like every scream that ever was, all mixed together into one endless wail of pain. I tried to look away but couldn't. It was like my eyes were locked onto this vision of destruction. Then I noticed people, thousands and thousands of people, wandering around in the smoke and fire. But they weren't really people anymore, more like shadows of what people used to be. Empty shells stumbling through the wasteland. That's when I heard the voice. It came from everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Not really a voice like you'd hear with your ears, more like thoughts being planted directly into my mind. But I knew it wasn't my thoughts because they were too big and too pure for my small human brain. This is but a shadow of what's coming. The words hit me like lightning. Not painful lightning, but the kind that wakes you up completely, makes you see things clear for maybe the first time in your life. I turned around, though turning didn't mean anything in that place. And there was this figure made of light. Not bright light that hurts your eyes, soft light that made everything else seem more real somehow. I couldn't see a face or features, just pure light in the shape of a person. People must turn their hearts back now. When the figure said this, I felt something break open inside my chest, like a dam bursting, but instead of water, it was understanding flowing through me. I saw how we'd all been living like the earth was ours to destroy, like there wouldn't be consequences for poisoning the air and water and soil, like we could just keep taking and taking without ever giving back. But it was more than just environmental stuff. It was deeper. I saw how we'd turned away from love and toward selfishness, how we'd forgotten that we're all connected, how we'd chosen anger and hatred over compassion and kindness, how we'd put money and power before the things that actually matter. The figure of light came closer and I felt this overwhelming sense of love. Not romantic love or family love, but something bigger. Universal love. The kind of love that created stars and planets and all life everywhere. It was beautiful and terrible at the same time. You have been chosen to carry a message back. I wanted to argue, to say I wasn't the right person for this, that I was just a ranger who barely finished high school, that nobody would listen to me. But the words wouldn't come out. Because deep down, I knew it was true. I knew I'd been chosen not because I was special, but because I was ordinary. Because ordinary people are the ones who can reach other ordinary people. The burning earth vision started fading, but before it disappeared completely, the figure showed me something else. A different earth, green and clean and full of life. People working together instead of against each other. Cities powered by wind and sun instead of oil and coal. Gardens growing where parking lots used to be. Children playing in clean rivers. This is also possible, the voice said. The choice belongs to all of you. Then, everything went white and I was falling. Not scary falling, more like floating down like a feather. And as I fell, I could hear singing. Thousands of voices singing together in perfect harmony. The most beautiful sound I ever heard in my life or death, or whatever you want to call it. I woke up coughing. My lungs felt like they were full of broken glass. Jake was pumping on my chest and yelling my name. Behind him, I could see the other rangers and some paramedics. They all looked scared. "Patricia, come on, Patricia, stay with us." I tried to sit up, but my body felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. My throat was raw and my voice came out like a whisper. "I'm okay. I'm back." Jake helped me sit up. "You were gone for almost 10 minutes. No pulse, no breathing. We thought we lost you." I looked around and the fire was still burning, but not as fierce as before. The wind had shifted again and was pushing it away from us. The pyrocumulus clouds were breaking apart. Ash was still falling, but lighter now, like the fire was getting tiered. "What happened to you out there?" one of the paramedics asked while checking my vitals. I didn't know how to answer. How do you tell people you died and saw the end of the world and talk to a being made of light? They'd think the smoke damaged my brain. "I don't know," I said. "I just remember falling and then waking up here. But that was a lie. I remembered everything. Every detail burned into my memory like words carved in stone. The dying earth, the figure of light, the message I was supposed to carry back. They took me to the hospital for observation. The doctor said I was lucky to be alive. That level of smoke inhalation should have killed me. My oxygen levels were impossibly low, but somehow my brain didn't suffer any damage. They called it a miracle. I called it something else. I stayed in the hospital for 2 days. The whole time I kept thinking about what I'd seen. The choice between two futures. The message I was supposed to share. But how? Who would believe a story like mine? When I got released, the Dragon Bravo fire was mostly contained. The official report said it burned over 2,000 acres and created unprecedented fire weather conditions. They talked about the pyrocumulus clouds and dangerous downdrafts like they were just interesting meteorological phenomena. They didn't understand that those clouds were a warning, a preview of what's coming if we don't change. I went back to work after a week, but everything felt different. I couldn't look at the forest the same way. Every tree and rock and stream seemed more precious somehow, like I was seeing them with new eyes that could appreciate how perfect and fragile it all is. I started talking to people, fellow rangers first, then friends and family. I told them about climate change and taking care of the earth. Most of them listened politely, but I could tell they thought it was just Patricia getting all environmental after her close call with death. But some listened differently, really listened. And now they have started making changes, small ones at first, recycling more, driving less, buying local food. Then bigger changes, solar panels, electric cars, joining environmental groups. I realized that's how it works. You don't change the whole world all at once. You change one person at a time, and they change one person at a time. And it spreads like ripples in a pond. I also started going to community centers and anywhere people would let me speak. I didn't tell them about dying and seeing visions. I just talked about taking care of creation and loving each other and making choices based on what's best for everyone instead of just ourselves. Some people got angry, said I was being political or trying to control their lives. But others got it. They understood that this isn't about politics or control, it's about survival. It's about love. Because that's what I learned in that place between life and death. That love is the only thing that matters. Love for each other, love for the earth, love for the future we're creating with every choice we make. The fire taught me that we're all connected. The smoke that choked my lungs came from trees that grew for decades. The fire that almost killed me was fed by drought and heat created by all of us together. What we do to the earth, we do to ourselves. What we do to each other, we do to ourselves. But the vision also showed me hope. That other earth, green and clean and full of life. It's not too late to choose that future, but we have to choose it soon, and we have to choose it together. Every day I wake up, I think about those two futures, the burning wasteland or the green paradise. And I know that what I do today, what you do today, what we all do today is going to determine which one becomes real. I still work as a ranger, still fight fires and protect the wilderness. But now I also fight for something bigger, for the kind of future where fires like Dragon Bravo don't have to happen, where the earth and all the creatures on it can thrive instead of just survive. Sometimes people ask me if I really believe what I'm saying, if I really think one person can make a difference. And I tell them what that figure of light showed me, that we're all connected, that every act of love and care ripples outward in ways we can't even imagine, that choosing hope over despair, love over fear, unity over division isn't just possible, it's necessary. The fire that almost killed me also gave me life, real life, life with purpose and meaning and hope. And if an ordinary ranger from Arizona can carry that message, then anyone can. We got a choice to make, all of us together. We can keep living like the earth is disposable and other people don't matter. Keep choosing short-term profit over long-term survival. Keep letting fear and anger divide us. Or we can choose love. Choose to take care of each other and the only planet we got. Choose to build that green future I saw in my vision. Choose to be the generation that turned things around instead of the generation that gave up. The fire is still burning in a lot of places, in our forests and in our hearts and in our communities. But fire can destroy or fire can cleanse and make new growth possible. It's up to us to decide which kind of fire we're going to feed. I choose love. I choose hope. I choose the future where children can play in clean rivers and breathe clean air and inherit a world that's better than the one we grew up in. What are you going to choose? Thank you for listening. If you have been blessed, please like this video. It will help YouTube to show it to more audience who need to hear about these testimonies today. Also share this video to your loved ones. It will be a great way to communicate Christ to others, and that will be the greatest gift you can give to those that you love. If you have an experience you will love us to share to our audience, kindly drop it in the comment section. If you are yet to subscribe to our channel, please do so. It's free and it's a way of joining this great community of believers. Join us today and your life will not remain the same. Until next time, remain blessed.